The first special meeting for the budget of the City Commission for Wednesday, February 14, 2022 may come to order. Please silence your cell phones or put them on vibrate. Everybody will be looking at you if it's your phone that's going off. Apologize for the brief delay. I'm going to go ahead and get things started. We had a number of issues come up right before the meeting, and I'm going to get it kicked off until the mayor is able to arrive. He should be here shortly. So first thing we're going to do is call the roll, City Clerk.
Vice Mayor McGurk.
Here.
Commissioner Colodi.
Here.
Commissioner Sachs.
Here.
And Mayor Owen will be late, and Commissioner Hartman is excused absent.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. So now we're going to open public participation. And this would be the time if anybody in the audience wants to speak on an issue regarding the budget, now is the time. So go ahead and come on up and please state your name and address for the record. I already see the signs going up. Now, no hooting and hollering, no clapping. This is a respectable place.
Thank you very much. My name is Robert Stevens. I live at 3406 Medici Boulevard in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. I just wanted to take a brief moment again to thank each of you for your time in representing consideration for the Pickleball Club. You've taken earnest time, and a lot of you have actually given a lot of consideration. I just want to tell one little parable story that I heard the other day that I thought was really appropriate. What we've done in the process for this is starting out fresh. We had no idea what we were doing. So it's kind of like I was walking down a road and I fell in a hole, and all of a sudden a clergyman came by and I said, help me, and he wrote a prayer and he threw it down in the hole. And then a few minutes later, a doctor came walking by and I was like, help me, and he wrote me a prescription and he threw it down in the hole. And then when I came to y'all, and when we as a group came to y'all, we asked for your help. And you all, each and one of you, for or against, all considering everything we brought to you, we thank you, jumped in the hole with us. And I was like, you guys unbelievably are doing this. This is crazy. And how are we going to get out of here? And you reassured us that you've been in the same hole before. You've been in this situation before. And you know a way out. And that's all we're asking, is to help us to find a way out, to find a way to fix this and do this. And we can't, again, thank you enough for your time. We have, again, readopted a park at Pettis Park as the Pickleball Club. So we're starting to do some refurbishments there. And we're continuing to support your considerations. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you for the comments. I can't read those signs. The letters aren't big enough. There we go. That one's better.
Got a lot of supporters here tonight. Hi, Owen Davidson, 202 Quayasisi. So I'm here obviously to speak on behalf of the Pickleball Club also. So we are blessed in New Smyrna Beach to have some of the finest leisure services, park services there are anywhere in the state. I read the new director, Rob Serilsar, he's doing a wonderful job. And the fact that we've got all of these nice facilities at the sports stadium, you've got football, you've got track, you've got soccer, you've got baseball, you've got girls, ladies baseball, you've got a variety of things, plus the fact that we have shuffleboard, you've got tennis, you've got everything that any community would like to have, except the fact that we need more pickleball courts. They would be the final piece of the puzzle. I looked at the fact of mentioning all of these things, and the fact of it might be important to notice that as we go along with these sports, hardly any of these things are opportunities, are facilities that pay for themselves in particular. So the city does not get any revenue from Little League Baseball, men's baseball, or men's softball, and so forth, right along the line. I don't think there's any revenue coming from that. So that's a difficult thing to discuss. I think we're in the perfect situation. The fact that you've got a situation now with the land out there by the Glencoe. You've got a pickleball club, which is obviously in full support of what's going on. You've got the monies that are budgeted now and so forth. All you need to do is pull the trigger and get it funded. So the last time you'll probably see these pickleball people is to say thank you. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, Owen. Okay, public participation is still open. Is there anyone else who'd like to come up and speak? No one even thinking about it? Hesitating a little bit? Okay. Is there no other public participation even that has nothing to do with pickleball? Okay. So at this time, I'm gonna close public participation. Natalia, we're going on to the item A. Natalia, ordinance number 6022, do you have any report on that?
No report.
Okay, so what I would like to do is, the mayor's not here yet, but I think we're gonna go ahead and make an attempt at this.
Let me read it. I'll go ahead and read
Yes.
it. Ordinance number 6022, an ordinance adopting the annual budget for the Utilities Commission, City of New Smyrna Beach for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2023, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. We have representatives from the Utility Commission here. If any members of the public wish to speak,
Any comments from the Utilities Commission? Good evening, how are you?
Good evening. Efrain Chavez for New Smyrna Beach Utilities now. But no, just it's our standard budget. I mean, no, of course, similar to the city and we definitely have had higher costs of materials, but those are factored in. But our revenues and such, I mean, we're doing our 10-year capital budget, so really no significant changes. But we just appreciate your consideration, and I know I'll be at another meeting for the second hearing. So that's all. But thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, the public hearing is closed. Any discussion by the commission on 6022? Is there a motion to adopt 6022 on first reading?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Kelly, please call the roll. I'm sorry, please. Go ahead, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cloney,
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to adopt ordinance 6022 passed. The second will be on September 27th, correct? Okay.
now statutorily, there are requirements for the way the things have to be presented for the millage rate and the budget in terms of the things that have to be presented. So Natalia, are you going to present on those items? And any ETA on the mayor? Should we?
Well, by the time hopefully we finish the presentation, he should be.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. At this time, Natalia, I'm going to go ahead and let you give a presentation, or
Good. Let me just open it up.
look, here he is.
There he is.
There he is. This is what happens when you're the mayor, your demands. The mayor was at a committed speaking engagement, and very important. So we anticipated this.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Colin. We're going to go through the presentation, so if you're ready.
Just saying hi to all the pickleball folks here. Seeing all the signs. So real quick, we got some pickles. Apologies to you all, to my colleagues. As I mentioned last night, though, had committed to this, thought this meeting would be at 6:30. But was excited to see that leadership program kicking off at the chamber, and to have several city employees there, including a couple from the clerks and the city attorney, police department, and maintenance ops with David. So I think it's going to be a really good program. So with that, Kyle, go ahead.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I'm going to open up this presentation, and then Natalia will follow. But I just want to mention a few things before we start. This is probably, I would say, the most challenging budget that I ever worked with since I've been with the city for a couple of reasons. The first one is the state mandate to raise the minimum wage to $15. And then as a result, that has created a compression issue for us. And then top it off with the union contracts for the police, fire, and Leona. Just the compression and the salary adjustments by itself, that amounts to about $2.9 million. That's not a minimum change. It's quite a bit, and it has an impact on the budgets in the preparation. Also, the increase in higher costs in construction and materials that we have to deal with. We've dealt with the budget in terms of trying to balance the budgets where we have a reasonable millage. Typically what happened in New Smyrna in the past has been probably have the second lowest millage in Volusia County. And so at this point, it's with having $2.9 million just in the salary adjustments and compression, that is difficult to maintain the current millage. So I'm going to have Natalia go through the actual presentation, and then we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mayor, Commissioners, and everybody in the audience, thank you for our first coming to our first public meeting today.
I want to add to that. First public hearing, but like the 15th budget meeting.
Exactly.
I mean, we've presented numerous different occasions, so just, every time you bring up budget, people talk about transparency, and I have to remind them, we've been here, they haven't, but we have. So some of them have. But.
It's probably presentation number 10 for us, at least.
All right, thank you.
So this is a recap of our tentative citywide millage. So general fund proposed operating millage is 3.95, debt service 2005-02176, 2018 debt service 0.1130, and proposed city millage for total would be 4.2806. And rollback is 3.3720. So basically, I'm reading these things we're required to really announce during the first public meeting. So our proposed budget total is $97,857,842. So we started with $96 million, our budget that we announced in June. But again, it was a summer loan process, a lot of adjustments. So this is our final number, as you see on the screen. Significant changes. City manager will go in more detail for these slides.
All right, Mayor. At the workshop in August 15th, the commission had directed the city manager to reduce the millage and the budgets slide down, and I think it was suggested by Commissioner Hartman to drop it to 4% increase between the current millage and the proposed millage. So I have looked at several items. The first one that I looked at is we had $500,000 in the general fund that was budgeted for expansion of Fire Station 53 in order to accommodate space for the fire marshal office. We had $118,000 for the South Pine sidewalk, which that sidewalk project did not go, but we've done some striping and stop sign there, so that $118,000 is available. We also had the chiller at Babe James. That was, we found some money from this year's budget, so we were able to do that. That's about $20,000. But the increase that we have to accommodate on top of that, For example, your traffic calming. We've got so many requests from the commission on traffic calming. I don't have any budget for that. So I budgeted some funding for traffic calming. Last night, you had the adjustment of the salaries for the 3 officers. We have the adjustment of the salary for the assistant city attorney. We've had to change the part-time position to a full-time position for the fire marshal's office. Also, we have the 2%, the ICMA matching that the commission has suggested that we do that for the employees. That was not included when we submitted the budget back in June. That's amount to about almost $200,000. We also had a request from IT that for Office 365 cybersecurity annual maintenance that we have to do. It's about $20,000. So combining all these and kind of like using some pluses and minuses, we were able to drop down the difference between the current millage and the proposed millage to 4%, and then as she goes along with it, you will see that we could even drop it before that to 3.74%. We also have a request from the high school through the school board for the traffic light at the high school. If the commission approves that, I have $100,000 available that I could use to be a partnership with the Volusia County and the school board.
That 100K is in this?
No, if it's approved, but I will find some money to put that there.
Okay.
Now, just to keep in mind that the $500,000 from the expansion of fire station, we were able to utilize the fire impact fees to purchase that property, and if we have to do any renovation to it. So that was taken out of the general fund, and then we were able to use fire impact fees. And I want to emphasize that we have utilized grants from FEMA, FAA, FDOT, DEP, St. John's Water Management District, the state. If you account all those grants that we got and fines, I mean, I don't think we would be able to do anything if we have to use the same millage that we've done before. So we have been looking for other sources of fund as well, and also we're looking for increasing revenues in the Brannan Center and other facilities, and also looking at, we have charges on credit cards right now that it amounts to almost $400,000 that we were thinking about to see if we could maybe charge that to the credit card user, because they charge between 3 to 4%. So we're looking at some other revenues to offset some of these numbers, but at this point, I think what I have presented right now, I think it gets us to the point where we needed to be, as suggested by one of the commissioners, to go down to 4% or less than that.
Go ahead. Hang on, Vice Mayor has a question over here. Go.
So I just want to make sure, clarify, you have the decreases and the increases, and those offset each other enough to where you have been able to hit the 4% desired amount?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
So this slide shows our basically changes, our tax rate, the Y millage we were looking at. So roll back again 3.37 to 0, and that would generate $17.62 million. You see on the very right, there is a column ad valorem. So basically, we try to show what millage and what it will account in terms of ad valorem. So our current millage, which we keep for last 3 years, it's 3.7421. If we keep it as it is, it will be $19.5 million. Original proposed was 3.9641. That's the one when we give you a budget book, so that was built on that millage rate. And that would generate $20.7 million. Now, after our meetings, Commission requested us to look at some other options. And as you see, we have option 1, 3.9608 millage, that would generate $20.7 million. And option 2, 3.95, which is $20.6 million. And that's the one our currently budget have, the one we're presenting today. It's option 2 at millage rate 3.95. So property tax, we show these slides, I want to see almost every presentation because we would like our taxpayers be aware and be mindful. This commission responsible only for 24% of your tax bill. And we took basically median home in New Smyrna, a taxable value, assessed taxable value at $238,000. And based on that, 24%, what city will get, it's $1,023. So as you see, Volusia County, it's the biggest one, of course, it's 36%, and school board 33%, and others, it's 7%. Because it's always forgotten that there is other taxing authorities that really own your tax bill. This is comparison of proposed operating millage rate in the county of Volusia. For the longest time, we were second from lowest, basically DeBerry, and then we were next. This year, Ormond Beach took that place for us, and we moved just one up. Even with proposed tax rate increase, we're still very much one of the lowest in the county. So next few slides will show you equipment requests through the city. Again, we're showing the slides often. This time we kind of try to organize them better. As you see, it's by departments and amount and funding source. So those several will be funded by general fund. And I will not name them all, you can see them, but basically requests, it's normal for us. Almost every department has a request on a yearly basis. We're a very busy city with a lot of services, a lot of demands, and so as you see, it's normal business for us. This year it's $2.2 million. It's kind of average with somewhere around $2 million for equipment around the city. I'm here for 2.5 years, and that's what I see lately. So capital outlay, again, we've seen it many times. Again, I think we started to show it from very first presentation. Again, it shows all the projects, the amount, and what the funding source. And just like city manager mentioned, we're trying to use all possible funding sources we can, especially grants, of course. And as you see, we're trying our best to get funding from, basically, if it's a grant exists, we're trying to get it. So this year, our total for all capital outlay, $17.8 million. It's a little bit higher than normal because of ARPA source. Normally, we're somewhere around 10-11 million a year, but because we've got ARPA funding, we were able to really, tackle many more projects. So total proposed funded capital is $20 million. So next step, it's our second public hearing, and it's scheduled for September 27 here at 6:30 p.m. So that concludes the presentation. If you have any questions.
Good. Okay. So, gentlemen, we've got 4 or 5 items to go through. I think that the major focus tonight will be on the operating budget. So would you all be okay if we go slightly out of order and go ahead and get the debt done, the 2005 and the 2018? We'll just go ahead and get those completed, and then we'll just kind of zoom in on the operating for discussion, if that's okay with everybody. Hearing no objections. So with that, we'll now consider the adoption. So we'll go to item 3C. This is the first one I see. So we'll go Resolution 5122, consider the adoption. Carrie will read that by title only.
Resolution number 5122, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, tentatively determining the amount and fixing the rate of taxation and making the annual property ad valorem levy in the amount of 0.2176 mils per $1,000 of non-exempt assessed value for INS 2005 voted debt service for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, scheduling a public hearing for a final levy of ad valorem taxes and providing an effective date.
Okay. So we're going to go through each of these as a public hearing. So if any members of the public wishes to comment on this item, so this is just that debt service maximum millage, now is your chance to do so. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a resolution to approve this tentative millage rate on the 2005 debt?
Motion to approve.
I have a second. I have a second from Commissioner Sacks. Any discussion on the debt?
The only discussion I have is to emphasize the fact that this is the tentative milling rate. So by approving it now, it does not take effect until it's voted upon September 27th.
Yes. Yeah, no, good call out, and happy to have you remind everyone on every one of them, even if you want to. But yeah, all of this that we're doing tonight is tentative, continues the discussion, continues conversation. The next time this is voted on, it will not be tentative. It will be the final, but some of this you kind of got to go through and get to that point. Also, on these next two, this one and the next one, this is voted debt. And that literally is just like your house mortgage. So once you set it, there's a schedule to how you pay it off, and this is the millage rate that pays off that debt. It declines slightly every year until it goes away, usually depending on the debt structure. So we had a motion, we had a second. City Clerk, if you'd call the roll on this item.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Clody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, City Attorney, we'll do item 3D, if you would read that one by title only.
Got my folders mixed up.
Sorry.
There we go. Resolution number 5222, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, tentatively determining the amount and fixing the rate of taxation and making the annual property ad valorem levy in the amount of 0.1130 mils per $1,000 of non-exempt assessed value for INS 2018 voted debt service for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022 through September 30th, 2023. Scheduling a public hearing for final levy of ad valorem taxes and providing an effective date.
Okay, again, this is a public hearing. Any members of the public wish to comment on this item, this debt millage? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 5222?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. With no other discussion, same reminder in place, this is tentative. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Of course.
Yeah, all right.
The one thing I do want to point out that this debt service was incurred because of the Turnbull Creek bond issue that the voters approved for to preserve the environment. I do obviously support this, but I do want to point out that the authorization to borrow more money to continue purchasing does still exist. So in the future, it will not continue to go down, but if we follow through with the recommendations of the established committees on this, it's going to go up in the future. So I certainly support it, but it's something that will have to be dealt with again.
Okay.
I hope that was clear.
I think so. Good call out. All right, City Clerk, if you'd call the roll, please.
Commissioner Clody?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks?
Yes.
Mayor Owen?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and then the last one, gentlemen, we have item F, not the last one, but the last that we're going to do out of order, if you're okay with it, is item F, which is stormwater. Again, we've discussed it. I think we can get through this one quickly, and then we can focus on the budget. So, Carrie, if you would read this one by title only.
Resolution number 5422, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, adopting the stormwater non-ad valorem special assessment role, specifying the unit of measurement, certifying the role of Volusia County, providing for conflicting resolutions, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, do I have a motion to, oh, sorry, this is a public hearing, so we'll open it to the public that are here for the stormwater assessment. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. And do I have a motion to adopt this item, 5422?
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the stormwater? Seeing none, City Clerk?
Vice Mayor McGurk,
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Clody,
No.
Mayor Owen.
Yes. All right, so that leaves us with the budget and the related millage, and we leave those because those are inextricably linked. The millage drives the budget drives the millage. So I'll open it up. My thought is we go down the line, we each say our piece. Someone makes a motion. I think, Carrie, remind me, we need to do these in this order of the millage, then the budget, or the budget, then the millage?
The millage drives the budget, so
So
let's start with
B.
the millage.
All right, so we'll go, so discussion, and then someone will make a motion. We're gonna do, so let's actually do this. Let's get resolution 50-22 read. So Carrie, if you'd read that one. 3B is what we're on, for those following along.
Resolution number 5022, a resolution of the City of New Smyrna Beach, Florida, tentatively determining the amount and fixing the rate of taxation and making the annual property ad valorem levy in the amount of 3.9500 mils per $1,000 of non-exempt assessed value for general fund operations of the city for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, scheduling a public hearing for final levy of ad valorem taxes and providing an effective date.
Okay. So this is a public hearing, so we'll hear from any members of the public that would like to comment on the maximum millage rate. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. All right, so gentlemen, we have to approve a millage and a budget. We're at a spot, my understanding is we're at a spot where if we want to say, first of all, the millage can't go above a certain number. It's not this number, it was a little bit higher than this, but we can't just pick any number. But if we go lower, we then have to, later on item, whichever one it is, E, we have to basically be able to direct staff to say, we want to cut X, Y, and Z to match that millage. So we're kind of beyond the point of being able to say, hey, we kind of want to get to this millage, let's go figure it out. We've got to approve a budget formally in item 3E. So that's where we're at. So with that, I'll open it up for discussion, then we'll take a motion after that. Or I'll take a motion if no one wants to discuss. Do I have a motion on
Motion
item
to
3B?
approve 5022. We're
Okay.
doing the millage first, right?
Yep. It's motion to approve item 5022. Do I have a second?
Second for discussion.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, I was hoping this would be a negotiation, a good time to negotiate. We're all together. We have staff here. We have some of the public to hear where we would like to go. This year, I'm very concerned about the bottom line of our taxpayers. People are hurting all over. Our employees are also hurting. That's why we approved these raises for them, even though it's federally mandated. It is only fair. I don't believe $15 will get a family of four very far, but I'm hoping it gets them on the road, at least. And so going back to a hopeful discussion and compromise and basically going back and forth, and because I think we're actually close. I don't agree with Commissioner Hartman's reduction of what looks to me like 1% or less. I appreciate the thought of reducing it, but at this point, I don't see any harm in proposing. I'm not going to propose rollback. I don't think there will be any support at all. But I would hope that we would consider at least using the current millage rate of 3.7421 add on the two debt services to give us the total 4.07, but we're really talking 3.74. I am willing to negotiate down from the 3.95, and might as well throw it out there now. I'm willing to go as high as 3.85 on the millage. I think it's a good, reasonable compromise, and I think we can get a lot of things done with that amount of money if we could just juggle a little better. We can always get better.
Natalie, can you go back to that slide that shows the option 1 and the option 2 at the bottom? We're going to come back to some of these in a minute, but if you can go to that. Yep, that one right there. So I think what I just heard you say is 3, you want to try to get to current, or 385. So like an option 3, which would be 385. So, okay.
Question for Commissioner Sachs. Can you tell me how much money that is and what you would like to cut from the current budget to get there?
No, I don't. I'm hoping staff can do that for me. I'm not an expert in accounting or figuring out what to cut from the budget. I don't really want to cut anything from the budget, and hopefully we have that bit of money in reserves. We're not talking about a large sum here. The difference between 385 and 395 is not a tremendous difference.
Well, how much is it then? You said it's
I
not
don't know.
much.
Maybe staff could answer
No.
that question.
Just to give you an idea,
Yeah.
each tenth of a mil is about $595,000. So if you drop it from 3.95 to 3.85,
About-
you're looking at reducing almost $600,000.
All right, we'll just call it 600,000 among friends. So, all right, so reducing 600,000. Sorry, you
No,
were
that was
talking.
great.
Okay.
That gives us an idea. So we have a $600,000 nut on your negotiation. And my question obviously to you is, what do you want to cut? And my opinion is, we have not raised the millage rate. We have always kicked the can down the road. We are a town that has historically changed from a blue-collar, working-class town where you did not get taxed, but you didn't get anything, to a town full of new people with a different goal and a different economic demographic, and they want a better quality of life and level of service than what this town historically provided when it was simply a service and old fishing town. So the voters increased the minimum wage. That's the vast majority of the increase. We have the people who want the pickleball courts. We have kids. This is a skateboarding and surfing community historically. There's lots of things we have to accomplish. And if we're not going to do it now, we're definitely not going to do it when the economy slows down. So I would love to just cut and cut and cut. Let's just, why stop at 3.85? Let's just, if you don't know what you want to cut, then just cut more. In other words, I'm giving you my justification on why I believe we need to move forward with the 4%. And by the way, you said you didn't like it, but when Commissioner Hartman brought it up, nobody said anything. So I was led to believe, I certainly, when I didn't protest what he said, I did not indicate to him or staff in any way that I had a problem with that. So I just need help from you on where you want to go with this, other than staff's responsibility, because it's staff's responsibility is providing us the information they've provided. Our job is to then, I believe, make the difficult decisions. That's why we're up here.
I'll tell you where I'd like to go, Vice Mayor. I don't think we should cut anything. I think we can operate on the monies that we have. We have a tremendous windfall from ARPA funds. We just received our second tranche of $7 million. That's a $14 million windfall. We have property rates that have gone through the roof. They're happening now. I believe we should take advantage of them now and provide those salary increases, provide the few capital improvements that we promised the people. I think this can be done with this difference. We're talking about $600,000, but last year we spent about close to $1 million on a property on Flagler and Peninsula we still don't know what to do with. So I say, what else can we do? What can we do better to provide the people what they would like, what we would like them to have, which is everything. I don't want to cut anything, but I think there is room. Maybe it's not 3.85, but maybe it's closer to 3.85.
So I hear you
and
saying it's
this-
both things. You don't want to cut, but you want to cut the budget, but you don't want to cut anything from the budget.
No, because I believe there's enough money somewhere to be able to do these things.
Question for staff real quick, just to add some more color to this. Let's take a home valued 300,000. What would a 385 versus 395, what does that mean on
So
a home?
basically, for every $100,000 of assessed taxable value of a home, we collect about $17. So for
For a 300,000 on home, let's say we're talking about 50 bucks or
Right.
so, divided by 12, we're talking about $4 a month, $4.25 a month.
somewhere there, yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So
Yeah,
we really,
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
so we're really asking not that much.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But a couple of points. Even if you go to the reserve, that's a one-time item. So that doesn't help you. And then also purchasing that 120 Flagler, that was transportation impact fees. So it's not money coming out of the general fund.
Yeah.
We have looked, and I've looked down to see where we could cut. The ARPA funds, the projects were assigned. So you have the projects with the funds for each project.
Yeah.
And I have the list with me here. So using ARPA fund is going to help you for this budget, but then the next year budget is going to be the same issue. So that's
Yeah.
what kicking the can down the road, and that's what happened with the solid waste. And I hate to see a big increase coming next year.
Yeah.
So you're handing some of the new commissioners, you're handing them a big increase in millage, which I don't think it's fair. I think it's time to do that now, so.
So, real quick, and then I want to let others chime in because we, want to see where we're all at. But I think everything city manager said is correct, and we've talked about that at length, other ways. I mean, the answer, what you're saying is absolutely correct. In fact, we have more than this in our in our reserves right now. We could literally go to a zero millage and pay for everything for a year. Why wouldn't we do that? Because it's a one-time thing. And then next year, we've got to replenish those reserves, or if something happens, we've got a problem. All the ARPA funds, first of all, there's tight rules around where that can and cannot be used. We can't just willy-nilly go start paying people out of the ARPA funds. And again, we're never getting more ARPA funds. So we're using the ARPA funds exactly as they were intended, which is for one-time things. Operating budget, the millage funds the operating budget, which funds ongoing operations, of which the cost of those have increased significantly. Not by choices made by this commission, I'd point out, but by choices made by the general populace and the voting track record they have. Not every single person, some people voted against, but the voters voted in an increase in the minimum wage, not at the federal level, but at the state. So we're following that state mandate. We've got our employees there. The voters value public safety, so we've increased our officer salary. The voters have made other decisions, and we're in an inflationary environment, and we buy a ton of gasoline. The price of gasoline has gone up tremendously in the past year and a half or so. We buy a ton of it, so we've got to pay that somehow. And I didn't cause the price of gas to go up. I'm just telling you what it costs to run a city. So let's open it up and hear some others so we know kind of where we're at before we get a motion on the table. Commissioner Colodi, you have any comments on this?
First, to address the comment from our vice mayor, I spoke up very clearly about my thoughts as to what should go on with the millage rate. This is not a surprise. I haven't changed. I don't want to raise the millage rate 1/1000%. And yes, it's going to cause some hardships. That'll happen. But I think a little bit farther than just this government. I look to the fact that the utilities are going up. Not by choice, but they got to buy supplies. They passed along an increase. It's going to go up for water. It's going to go up for their supplying electricity. That may be another $5, might be another $50. Our stormwater, which I voted against, was another $3. It's a small amount. The county has managed to go to rollback. I don't know how, because I don't think that's even possible here. I wouldn't even ask for that. I might ask a question. How much in increasable taxable values do we have throughout the city from last year to this year? What percentage?
It's,
Doesn't have to be exact.
yeah. If you look at one of the slides, which is this one right here, the current millage is, you got 19.55. The proposed millage, you get 20.72. So
What
that
I'm
would be-
saying is, how much did the base go up?
It's about 4%.
You talk about
He's talking about
No.
the property value, that
Property
billion.
values have gone
I
up.
think it's 1 of say 7 or 10.
No, it was more than that. So last year we had $4.9 billion. This year we have $5.5 billion. It's about, let me see, I'm looking at my chart from property appraisal. It's 14% increase.
14% increase we're going to have whether we change the millage rate or not. Our expenses are going up. I realize that, which is why I wouldn't ask for the rollback. But you add in all the charges that people pay, whether it's for gas, everything. We all know, you go to the supermarket, what used to cost you $3, costs you $4 now. Personally, it doesn't cause me any harm, but many of our residents live day to day. And these little nicks that they get constantly put them, some of them, I believe, will go over the limit, what they can afford. They got adjustable rate mortgages, they're going to go up. I'm not going to contribute to that. I don't want to see that. Yes, there's a price to pay. Do we want to charge them more? I don't. So I look to the staff, and this is nothing new. I've been saying this since the very first hearing. I don't want to raise the rates because I think it hurts the people who can't afford it. I looked up, just as an example, because I don't want to pick on anybody else in the city, I looked at my own preliminary tax bill. My New Smyrna portion of my tax bill is going up 9.5%. That's not a little bit amount of money. It's a lot. Part of that's because the valuation went up, because people build expensive houses near me. But even so, I can't support it. I understand the thoughts of what we would like to do. I've proposed a lot of these projects to go forward myself. I would hate to see them fall by a wayside this year. And by the way, I expect next year's budget and the year after budget to be even harder to work with. It might come to a point, if I'm still here, where I will have to support a millage increase. But this is not the year for it, from my standpoint, for all of us citizens. So that's my comment.
Okay. All right, so I'm not going to put words in anybody's mouth, but what I think I'm hearing, Vice Mayor, was, sounds like you're willing to support kind of the option 1 or 2 that was proposed right at that 4%, something Commissioner Sachs wanted to see us get to current or as high as 3.85, which would result in a reduction of about 600,000. and the 385 would get to 600,000, and then Commissioner Colodi wants to get to would be happy at current millage, which would be a even larger reduction. So that's kind of where we're at. Where we go from here is we have to do something. We have to vote on something, or else we sit here until we don't, I guess, or we come back tomorrow morning. I don't know how that works, but and that's a millage and a budget. So yes.
I will not hold up this process, knowing that this is the first of 2 hearings.
Okay.
So I would support it to move along and look for a miracle from our staff to cut those costs down the second time around.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I genuinely do. I mean, acknowledging also that this is hitting us at a bad time from a scheduling standpoint with the whole commission being present, and so I think the miracle is, I think we just, the slides following this one, if you just tab through those real quick, the miracle is that we, the 5 of us, tell staff which of those we value less than the rest. I mean, that's where we're at. We can't unwind the union negotiations. We can't unwind, all of those things, which is a giant chunk. So it's all these one-time expenses that we have to look our staff and our residents in the eye and say, we're not going to fund the pickleball courts. And unfortunately, I'm gone. This is the last one I'll ever do, so I can kind of speak my mind. I think we've fallen victim of, it's easy to say yes. And when folks like this show up, we want to say, oh no, we're going to do the pickleball courts. But then it comes time to do this. We also want to be able to look the same people in the eye and say, we didn't raise your taxes. And you can't do both. So to me, if we're going to do that, then we have to look them in the eye and say, we're not funding the pickleball court. Like, we're not. That's $500,000. We're looking for $600,000. We're not even all the way there. So we're not funding the pickleball court or the $100,000 Quayacece sidewalk. There's our $600,000. I'm at 385. Let's vote. I'm done. I'm happy to do that. But let's do it. Let's look these folks in the eye and say that we're not funding pickleball. Because otherwise, that's, I think, the challenge. And it's tough because it's all good things. We all want things. I want the pickleball court. So I missed public participation, but was there a line of people that were struggling with the proposed increase in taxes, Vice Mayor, or no?
Not a one, just members of the pickleball community came up too and lobbied for their cause. No one, we didn't have a single person from the community who was upset about the proposed budgets.
So that's, and I respect that, Commissioner Colodi, I have to hand it to you. You have, from the very beginning, made your position very clear. So I'm not trying to be disparaging or attacking in any way, because you've made that clear. Conversely, I have made very clear, I've said publicly at the State of the City, I've said it at every public gathering I've spoken at since, our taxes have to go up. There's a myriad of forces out there causing it. Some of the things the Vice Mayor spoke about earlier as well, the change in our demographic, and we serve the people. And the people that I haven't gotten a single email about it, I haven't gotten a single contact about it, and the only people I've heard from is this crowd who've been very dedicated to show up at every budget meeting asking us to put more money in the budget to fund the item they want. And they've all heard this entire discussion. They know that we're talking about adding, whatever it is to their tax bill. The last thing I'd point out, I got my tentative thing as well. My taxes are going down overall. Yeah, if you zoom in, New Smyrna's are going up. They're going down overall. If you look at, go to the chart that shows us versus everyone else. The county is going to rollback. I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if it's sustainable or not. It's not, is the answer. But I think there have been times when we've been the ones keeping the tax bill low while others have jacked it up. Because look at where Volusia County, or you don't have it on here. Oh yeah, you do. So Volusia County, they're 2 over from us. They're almost to 5. So the times when they haven't gone to rollback or they haven't maintained their millage, we have been. So overall, that impact to the average person, I'm paying less in taxes on my house this year with this proposed rate than I did last year. And I know there's a million factors. It's debt, it's county, it's school board, it's everything else. I understand it well, just like you. But when you look at that big picture, I can look the average person in the eye and say, hey, it's a complex formula. We're a part of it. Overall, your taxes went down a little bit in a time when every single cost facing every single person in government is going up. I think that we have to take the win and move on that. So, but I appreciate the comment you made about not wanting to hold the process up, acknowledging this is tentative. So with that, I'll ask, do we have a motion on ordinance 60? Is it 60? Yes, 60. No, sorry. It is.
We have a
There was a
motion and a
motion.
second, and then there was
Oh,
discussion.
we did get the motion in a second. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So we had a motion, we had a second for discussion. We've had said discussion, so let's take a vote and see how this goes. City Clerk?
We can ask for public comment.
I thought I did that.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did. City Clerk, call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor McGurk,
Yes?
Commissioner Sacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Clody,
In that case, no.
Mayor Owen.
Yes,
Thank you.
This is just the first reading.
it is.
Yes.
It is correct. The second one will be on September 27th? Yeah. Okay, and item E is the tentative budget. So I don't think we need another presentation on this. Obviously, the budget, the millage are inextricably linked. So with that, do I have a motion on item, resolution 5322?
Motion to approve resolution number 5322.
Do I have a second?
Is there anyone who wishes to comment?
Hang on, let's get a second real quick. I'm gonna get to that. Do I have a second to the motion on, to approve item 5322?
I'll second.
Okay.
Move along.
Anyone who would like to comment on resolution 5322? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Had a motion, we had a second, go ahead.
Just one question. We touched on it briefly, but in good practice in our guidance, how much percentage do we want to keep for the, whether you call it an overall reserve for hurricane protection? What percentage do we keep as a minimum?
Well, they're supposed to 25%, but right now we have over that.
And how much over that is it?
I think we have about 5 million.
We have $5 million over required 25%.
Well, I
Which is-
certainly wouldn't want to go below the 25%, but that could be a source of some of the difference between the millage rate that we're talking about and one that I like.
Yeah, I'm happy between now and the next one if staff can, I was struck, I attended a League of Cities event and the mayor of Mexico City, Florida, gave a presentation and they were talking about the immediate aftermath of when they had that devastating hurricane come through. Kyle, I think you were there for that with me. Some of the others may have been as well, I don't remember who was there. But he talked about the reserves they had were gone in less than 24 hours. And he said we were stroking checks for, literally to keep people alive, basically. And he said, I was writing checks that I didn't know for sure they would cash. So, I don't know that we have, basically, the 25% to me is probably the absolute bare minimum. I've been very comfortable knowing we had a little more in that fund. I'm not trying to grow it, but certainly if that's a conversation I'm willing to have, if staff would like, 25% is the charter required minimum. So we could draw that down if that is something, and staff could tell us what that impact would be. I'm happy to have that discussion, but.
Yeah, I would love to see it higher also, but
Yeah.
it's, using the word minimum gives the impression that, well, you're barely squeaking by. So we got to look into those things. We don't know in Mexico City, maybe they only had 5%. Maybe they're a different city. I don't know the facts on that.
Yeah.
I know I've heard about it
Yeah.
and that they had those problems. I don't want to infringe upon 25%, but if we can come to some type of agreement, I could support the budget, which I would like to do.
Yeah.
I've turned it down in the past more than once, but I voted yes once. So I would like to see us make a real effort to save those couple dollars from our citizens.
Okay. Cal?
Mayor, just on reserve, in 2004, we had 3 hurricanes back to back. And I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for the reserve we have, we would have been in big trouble. But I think the reserve we had, we would have had more than 25%. It really saved us because FEMA, as you know, they don't pay you up front. And so if it wasn't for the reserve that we have, I think we would have been, and you know, hurricane season, it's getting worse and worse, and,
Yeah.
but it's up to the commission. Whatever the commission wants, I'm ready to do.
Personally, if we're going to talk about, I mean, this is something that was on a list that just never quite got to. I would like to see us not only have the reserve, at least where it's at, if not grow it, but we also should have like an operating line of credit that we have access to that we've established before a crisis, so that during a crisis, we can, you know, we know we can dip into that, and then we'll, you know, figure out how to pay for it later type deal. But, you know, in those moments when you're trying to provide shelter, food, water for residents immediately after an aftermath like that, you know, I think we should have access to something. So add that to a list somewhere. You had a comment, Commissioner Sykes?
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. You know, if we do have $5 million excess, and the difference between 1 point really is $600,000, I think we can withdraw $600,000 from the reserves and come out just fine. And we would be able to replenish that in no time. With the amount of the property values, those windfalls that came in, I don't see any reason why we can't do this and give the people all that they can, and also provide for those who can't quite make their tax bills because they have to pay their medical bills or their food bills. It's a tough time for everyone, I know. It's a tough time for city employees and a tough time for the city. But if we're going to do it at all, at any time, because we just seem to keep raising incrementally our millage, I'd like to see us give the citizens a break.
Yeah, I just want to say for the record that our millage under this, the 5 of us, has gone down and stayed flat. So there's never been a millage increase passed by the 5 people sitting here right now, just for the record. All right, we had them.
One comment.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm listening to all the points. Seems there's 2 and 2. I don't agree with you. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I would love to be able to cut all the budgets and get what we want and do all that stuff, but here's where I summarize. We continue to kick the can down the road, and you talk about not hitting the people who can't afford to pay very small increases because they're right there with their finances. We're on the brink of financial collapse. The longer that we hold out, the longer we kick this can down the road, the bigger that impact is going to be to the very person you're trying to help. So is it better to ease into it or hit them with a big amount that is going to be financially impossible for them to cover based on the comments that you have made in terms of the people you're looking out for? Again, kicking the can down the road. If you want to come in and propose cuts, I'm all for that. I can listen to that. And if we want to come into the second reading and have a list, and as you say, Commissioner Sachs, negotiate, that's fine. But I want to see what you want to cut. And remember, the more you cut now, the bigger and the more impact it's going to be for those very people you're trying to help down the road. Thank you, Mayor.
And let me just follow up, Vice Mayor. You know, we have to consider everybody. We have to consider those who can't even afford to buy a pickleball racket. And we have to consider those who came and fervently requested for us to build them courts. And I'm glad to do that. And I'm a little bit uncomfortable about the skate park because originally we promised to repair the skate park, and now we're proposing to double the size. Okay, fine. The people wanted that, and we want to do it for them. But we have to consider everyone. We can't consider these big capital outlays and then tax the people, and then the folks who don't benefit from any of those amenities have to pay the nut. So I know, I agree with you when you said you're going to be raising taxes for the next 3 years possibly. But I'm just looking for that 1 year to give people a break. It's not kicking the can down the road. So we can disagree on that. That's fine. I may be wrong, I may be right. You may be right or wrong, I don't know. But I think this is the year to give folks a break.
All right. So we had a motion and a second. We asked for public comment, which we have done. So that was to adopt this tentative budget as read. Let's take a vote. City Clerk. Remembering, hang on, before you do that, this is tentative. There's still a chance to have further conversations on some of the items that have been brought up by other commissioners.
Question, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Please oblige me.
Sure, go ahead.
If we have not adopted the millage rate, how can we adopt the budget?
We just adopted the millage rate. That was item B.
But we still have a second reading.
Yes, same on the budget.
Which may make the millage rate different, which may make the budget different.
So there's two readings for each. So we
Right.
adopt a tentative budget and a tentative millage, and then we're gonna come back
We
and
can
do
do
the
it that
same
way,
process
fine.
over. So if we've made changes to the budget, it would adjust the millage or vice versa. So yeah. Am I right on that? Am I missing anything?
Correct, they're both tentative.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so we have a second swing at both the millage and the budget. So, but again, remember, if we change the millage, we have to change the budget, or if we want to change the budget to drive the millage, so. All right, I think for the third time, Kelly, I mean it this time.
Vice Mayor McGurk,
Yes.
Commissioner Cloney,
Yes, at this point.
Commissioner Sacks,
Yes.
Mayor Owen.
Yes. All right, next item, commission comments. Anything budget-related for commission comments? Seeing none, any staff comments finally?
I just need some clear direction, Mayor, for what's the expectation for the second reading.
I think you probably want to have some dialogue with my gentleman my colleagues to the right, and you know, if there's something that they're highlighting that they're willing to cut to get us there, that we could that you know everyone else agrees on, then I'm open to hearing it. But
So I'm expecting items to cut be submitted by the commission.
items or ideas, and that's what I heard, is that they wanted to see it go down by certain amounts, and so they were going to say, here's how I could get it. I do think it's worth some dialogue and some staff, you know, some expert opinion on that, the reserve, and whether or not, you know, the viability of pulling from that this one time, and what that would mean in the future, and you know, so we can talk about that as well. But I think addressing some of the comments that we heard tonight is kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I just want to know what the expectation
Yeah.
from my side. So I'm waiting for items that they needed to be cut to be submitted to us, and then we present it at the next meeting. Is that?
To be clear, I was comfortable at the staff proposed. I think Vice Mayor, not to put words in his mouth, but I think Vice Mayor was as well. I can't speak for Commissioner Hartman, obviously, so, you know, I think coming back with some options to address those, having those ready, so that depending on how that dialogue goes at that time, we could address that if we need some of that to get to, you know, the final budget. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.